Okay, I think we're live. Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Boz coming to you from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It is Sunday night at 6 p.m. and we are live. Live. I have a great show for you tonight at my own expense, showing you some of what happens when keto just doesn't go well for a season, then we're back on track. And what are some of the tips and tricks I have for patients, but are also things I have to use myself because I'm in this journey just as with the same humility that life isn't always perfect. So yeah, I am Dr. Boz. This is the channel, and we do a lot of teaching about the ketogenic diet. I have a few traditions I do on my show, and wanting out with probably the scariest part of the week, which is this is a live show. I don't know how you do the time delay that I could fib this, but the checking my numbers at the beginning of every show, drinking a product that's supposed to raise them, and then checking them at the end. I mean, I'm quite confident I have my name behind that product, but I'm also, it is a little nerve-wracking. Oh, shoot. So it is a little nerve-wracking. Oh, shoot. That's not going to work out. Hold on, I got to get another strip. So another example of live is really live. So this is my ketone strip. I do want to let everybody know that I am super excited to have negotiated a deal with Foracare for the month of December, that anybody who buys one of their kits can get it 30% off. So here is my ketone down. Squeeze a little bit more to get the blood to work. And then my blood glucose meter, those are the white strips. Same meter, two of them because I am trying to do this fast and show you the numbers at once. So yeah, ketones are actually pretty high for being tough. Let's actually recheck those because that's really high for me. Let me just do one more check. I touched ketone powder before I started this, and I just want to make sure that that is really that high of a ketone, because even for me that's pretty high. So here it is again. 369 just means the strip has been calibrated, and let's try another drip of blood and count it down. So my blood sugar is 108. That's where I'm trying to show you. This has been a tough week, I think I just touched the ketone powder before I measured, and 0.6 is what I expected it to be, or I expected it to be definitely under 1. Sugars are up because I've had a season. I've had a tough season. So I do say you're not on the keto diet if you aren't measuring your ketones. So for the month of December, I want you to take advantage. It took me quite a while to check to get 30% off of that kit from Foracare, and they only let me do it for a month. So, and I think there's a limited number that the deal will stop working for, is around 1,000. So 1,000 meters, which would be amazing that that many people get to checking their sugars and their ketones. You see me do this every week, not because I like being this vulnerable, but because, yeah, keeping it real is the only way to really see progress, is kind of showing yourself out there and showing you the numbers, showing you what happens when. So people are saying it's buffering, Jack. It's working okay now. All right, so it's all actually things that just reset. Okay, so I'm gonna add you'll see one of the things that I do for what happens when you're having a tough season is I have ketones in a can, and this is what I call biohacking your way out of a bad week or a bad season of ketones. Not just because it'll make my ketone numbers look better, but because it really helps my brain, especially when you're been keto adapted. You can feel the difference of when your body is, like, I could tell you before I check those numbers that there's no way my ketones are 2.6. I don't feel that good. I feel sluggish, and what a tough season, which is what we're going to go through tonight. So I'm going to sip on this throughout the show. I will check my numbers at the end. The part of being, which is what we're going to go through tonight. So I'm going to sip on this throughout the show. I will check my numbers at the end. The part of being vulnerable is I did not accidentally start making these products. I started making these products when I was frustrated that I would ask patients, and in the clinic, we would have them drink it and their numbers wouldn't change in their blood, which is terrible. It should change. It should change. And I don't like a wimpy flavor for chocolate. It should be a strong flavor. So you don't need the whole packet, but I really like the taste of good deep chocolate. So our chocolate is not milky chocolate. It is dark chocolate. But I'm going to sip on it throughout the show. We'll check it at the end. I do want you to have some questions built up for the end of times where you've fallen off the wagon or you've had a tough season and what you did to get back on track. Before we dive into the show or the outline for the night, I wanted to make sure to mention the 30% off is only for the month of December 2020. And instead of the traditional promo code that I use with ForaCare, which is Dr. Boz, let's see if I can go over to this one. I want to do here. Yeah, so this is the promo code is Dr. Boz 2020 is what you need to get 30% off the kits. Again, if you haven't stepped over the threshold, or if you're new to the keto diet, we're going to go through how you do not need to be checking numbers for some of this. But when you do step over the investment in the meter, it's near $100. Depending on how many strips you get with the kit will depend on what the price is. But I really am thankful that they finally acquiesced to me saying, you got to get it cheaper for folks for me. And then I don't know if you've ever bought kits before, but it was really annoying to me that they wouldn't have the little plunger that lancets the device into your finger. You'd have to actually buy that separately. So in these kits for December, they all have lancets and lancet springs in them. So there are 3 different options for the month of December, and that just depends on how many strips you want. Personally, I would be getting the higher number of strips. They don't go bad. They really are amazing when you have them on hand, how much you learn about yourself. So we're gonna take that off. We're gonna go back to the live chat over here. All right, so I really do want you to see the transparency that this has been a season where I've had a tough time. I had put out a little article I wrote sharing what happens with some of the traditions of when people fall off and why they fall off their keto journey. I call them the toxic traditions that kill your ketogenic diet. It's not a surprise for people to see, the holidays over the last 2 weeks were something that life as well as other people's. But anybody who's been following the show knows that my mother recently died. So the holidays have always been a big part of. We scrapped all tradition and left the state. So we had a show that was supposed to air last week at the time of the show that somehow didn't quite work. So we aired it on Monday of last week. But I really was excited for you to see, and then realized it didn't launch when it was supposed to. So thanks for the forgiveness on that one. But when it came, I don't want it to look normal. I want to get away. And so we went to a football game and got out of the normal routine. But what a tough season. So my birthday was last week as well. So that's another celebration, but also one that just was hard to miss. My mom passed away in the last 6 months, and it's just was a lot this week. So I did not do great. Usually, for anybody who's been watching my my story over the past 3 years, you've seen me pretty stable in my my continuing to improve my health. And boy, since she died, which was the last part of October, I've really had a tough time doing my that fit into what derailed me, and then what are some of the strategies I use to get back on track. This download, though, this toxic traditions, it does do some of the more a little bit higher education for what's going on, why are the cravings coming back, what should you do, what are some of the better ways to strategize away from those falls. And a lot of that, the information on this comes from the 20 plus years of being internal medicine physician, our job is to predict the future of your health. And also, if we do a great job of helping you with your health, you never notice the problems that we were worried about. We did a good job. And so you'll see a lot of some addiction references in that traditions of, why do we go back to carbs even though I know I wasn't going to feel better? I back to that. All right. So when I look at my fall off over the last 2 weeks, I had the holidays of Thanksgiving. I had my birthday. I had my parents' anniversary. So a lot of grieving, a lot of time that was just downtime for me that I didn't want to have. And I could totally feel it. I usually do a fast every week. And since mom has died, I've really done terrible at hitting my goals for fasting. But I thought I would show you that when I was down, suddenly it was okay to have a few more carbs. It was, I haven't really had much wine for probably 6 months, but I get why they put booze at a funeral now. There wasn't booze at my parents' funeral, but it's just heavy. It's just, you want to escape. You want any way to not be around. And when you think about celebrating, the celebrations are so much connected to food. So often the food will become the focus. And how do you switch that? How do you move that to a different place? So once you've fallen off and you can feel it, especially I think my patients over the age of 30 or people who have been severely overweight, in that first week of a ketogenic diet is you do, a state of ketosis removes a bunch of the extra water that shouldn't be in your body. And the longer you live without it, the more it kind of seals back up the places where the water was being stored. It shouldn't have been there, but it was being stored. And now you're on the other side of feeling better, in a rhythm of ketosis, and bam, when you fall off the wagon and those carbs come flushing back in, it pulls in a bunch of water. And so it feels like a hangover, even if there wasn't alcohol. Carb hangover, or it's very real. It's chemically real. You've seen me several thumbprint in the shins of patients to measure their extracellular fluid, otherwise known as peripheral edema. This is a sign of just, can we have a metric to see how much extra swelling is in their body? And that's a heck of a easy, cheap, safe, reproducible way to look at extracellular fluid that flood back in after you fall off. If you fall off with alcohol, even more. Even more swelling occurs. So when I look at several ways that I said, okay, you fall off the wagon, here's some things that I go through. And I have about 6 steps. I was really planning on this book being out, in July, but so when I'm saying, okay, I got to find my rhythm again, I've